Once upon a time, in a world not so different from ours, people were convinced that brushing their teeth with radioactive toothpaste was the pinnacle of health. No, this isn't a sci-fi movie. I'm not joking. It's just one of those countless bizarre trends in the history of human evolution. So, from Doramad radioactive toothpaste to Oreo-flavored Coke, today, I'm taking you on a roller coaster ride through our strangest obsessions. So buckle up because we're diving deep into the wild, crazy world of human trends and questionable choices. But hey, who are we to judge? You know what they say, hindsight is 2020. But before we go any further, let me introduce myself. I'm NAS native English speaker, CELTA certified. And the reason I create these videos is because I want English to be fun. I want the learners, the students, yourself, to engage in topics that are interesting, that go beyond hobbies or your last travel destination. So today, let's start with the first trend, which was Doramad radioactive toothpaste from the 1940s. And you know what? They proudly announced that the toothpaste contained a small amount of thorium. Yeah, you heard that right. Thorium, it actually sounds dangerous, right? Well, back then, radioactivity was seen as a miracle of modern science. So they said, why not put it in our toothpaste? It was marketed as the magic formula for dazzling white teeth, kind of like Ronaldo's, and a healthy mouth. But little did they know, they were just barking up the wrong tree. Not only was this a brush with danger, they were practically begging for danger. Well, thankfully, they eventually got the message, but not before countless people added a little glow, radioactive glow, to their daily dental routine. Talk about living dangerously. And here's a fun fact. Did you know that back in the early 20th century, radium was all the rage? People used it in everything, from watches to chocolate. It was literally the gift that kept on giving. Radiation, that is. If you heard the phrase barking up the wrong tree and you weren't quite sure what it means, well, it means to pursue a misguided course of action, kind of like using radioactive toothpaste to get pearly white teeth. It's like hoping to find a cat up a tree and all you find are squirrels. You are barking up the wrong tree. By the way, there will be detailed definitions in the description. Now, let's fast forward to the 1960s when culinary creativity really went off the rails. Who could forget the gelatin era? They put everything in Jell-O. Fruits, vegetables, meats, you name it. It was a time when dinner and dessert were one and the same. And the line between appetizing and downright appalling was as blurry as ever. During this time, it was all about pushing boundaries, even if it meant putting your taste buds through a game of Russian roulette. I mean, crazy times, right? Well, fun fact, people didn't just stop at putting bizarre things in Jell-O. The 60s also saw the birth of Tang. Do you remember Tang? The powdered drink that went to space with astronauts? It's what you got when life didn't hand you lemons, but rather when a chemist with a sugar addiction created something crazy. So, Tang. And by the way, do you know the phrase, when life hands you lemons? Can you complete it? Please comment and join the conversation. Now, I mentioned off the rails, right? And if you're wondering, what does go off the rails mean? So when we say something goes off the rails, we're talking about losing control or deviating from the norm. And can you guess where this idiom comes from? Trains, right? Fantastic. So this perfectly sums up the Jello phenomenon, right? I think people went off the rails. Now let's skip ahead another 20 years or 2 decades to the 1980s, where we saw the birth of diet culture. Low fat, sugar-free, everything light, Coke Light, Pepsi Light. Tab soda was king, and Snackwell's cookies were the queen of denial. People were obsessed with counting calories. And if it said diet, they were all in, hook, line, and sinker. The mantra at the time in the 1980s was thin is in. And unfortunately, so were artificial sweeteners that tasted like sadness. They did not taste like a happy meal. So, fun fact, Snackwell's cookies were so popular in the 90s that they sold over $490 million worth in their peak year. People thought they could eat as many as they wanted because they were fat-free, which goes to show that sometimes we really do have a sweet tooth for lies. And by the way, do you have a sweet tooth? Do you know what a sweet tooth is? Comment and join the conversation. Now, you may have heard me say hook, line, and sinker, right? And you're wondering, what does it mean? Well, hook, line, and sinker means to completely believe in something without question in this context, like the world did with diet fads. And if you are all in, basically, hook, line, and sinker. I fell for his lies. Hook, line, and sinker. So, basically, it comes from the fishing analogy. And if you were a fish, you just got caught, reeled in, and served. Hook, line, and sinker. Okay, time to move forward in time to the 2000s, where everything was about flavor experiments gone wrong. Think Pepsi Blue, Heinz Green Ketchup, and crystal clear drinks that were, let's face it, nothing short of weird science. I remember getting offered a coffee Coke in Milan, and when I went to throw it into the trash can after taking 2 sips, I saw that the nearest trash can was full of full cans. Basically, no one was buying that. So the 2000s, the whole decade was like a giant lab experiment where nobody asked if we should, just if we could. Yeah, we could, we can make coffee-flavored Coke, but should we? Nobody asked the question. It's like everybody collectively decided to taste the rainbow, even if that rainbow was oddly off-putting. I wanted to use the word disgusting, but I'm trying to be polite here. So speaking of strange flavors, did you know that Pepsi once released a cucumber flavor in Japan? Yeah, that's right. Cucumber soda. So confusing. Clearly, someone in marketing was having a midlife crisis. Cucumber soda, it really does blow my mind. Now, did you hear me say taste the rainbow? And you're wondering, what on earth is Nas talking about? So, okay, taste the rainbow isn't technically an idiom. It's the Skittles tagline, but hey, it fits here, so let's use it. Trying all these weird food trends was like opening a Pandora's box of taste sensations, most of which were best left unopened. Do you know what Pandora's box was? If you do, please join the conversation and let's talk about it. Okay, and now we've reached the present day, where the world can't seem to get enough of matcha, chocolate lattes, chocolate toothpaste as well, and believe it or not, Oreo flavored Coke. We're living in an age where anything goes. Oh, if it's Instagrammable, it's edible. It's like we're all chasing a culinary dream that's perpetually out of reach, but who can blame us? The heart wants what it wants, even if that's a soda that tastes like cookies or cucumbers. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced at all. So, Oreo flavored Coke isn't just a concept, it's a reality. And by the way, for any of you who have traveled or are traveling to Qatar and going to the Hamad International Airport, there's an entire Oreo bar that serves Oreo everything. So, like I said, Oreo flavored Coke isn't just a concept, it's a reality, and people are actually drinking it. It's proof that people want what they want, and our quest for novelty knows no boundaries. I call it bad taste, but I mean, that's just my opinion, and I'm one person out of 7 billion, right? So, did you hear me say chasing a dream? Yeah, and chasing a dream is all about pursuing something elusive or difficult to achieve. Kind of like that perfect snack that doesn't exist yet. Speaking of which, what is your favorite snack? For me, it's popcorn. I cannot watch Netflix without a huge bowl of popcorn. So, what does this all say about us? Maybe it's that we are endlessly curious. Oh, that's a polite way of saying a bit crazy or stupid, but okay, let's rewind. Maybe it's that we are endlessly curious, or perhaps we're just easily swayed by the latest shiny, trendy, Instagrammable thing. One thing's for sure though, we're always on the hunt for something new. Whether it's, radioactive toothpaste so I look like Ronaldo, or soda that tastes like dessert or salad, our history is a testament to the human spirit's relentless pursuit of novelty. Novelty, blah, 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 novelty, no matter how absurd it might seem. So from glowing toothpaste to Oreo Coke, we've seen it all and probably tasted most of it too. These trends might seem odd, but they're a snapshot of our times. They're actually a window into our collective desire to push boundaries, even if it means sometimes missing the mark and going off the rails. So the next time you see a weird product on the shelf, just remember it's all part of the evolution of man and our unending appetite for the extraordinary. Now, if you enjoyed this little trip through time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And tell me in the comments, what's the weirdest thing you've ever tried? Let's share some laughs over our taste bud misadventures. These are not adventures. These are misadventures. Thank you for joining me today. I'm your host, Nas, native English speaker, CELTA certified, and I'm on a mission to make English fun and engaging so that you enjoy the journey and not just the destination. Thanks for joining me. Ciao.